They've become part of daily life. Small, sleek, and wireless earbuds slip into our ears as easily as slipping on a pair of shoes. Whether it's during a commute, at the gym, while working, studying, or even falling asleep, earbuds provide constant connection to music, podcasts, calls, and entertainment. But while they may feel harmless, hours of constant listening comes at a price, one that most people don't see until the damage is already done. The truth is, earbuds are silently contributing to a growing health crisis: noise-induced hearing loss. If you're using earbuds daily for long periods, your hearing may already be at risk and you might not even know it. In a world that rewards multitasking and constant stimulation, the idea of silence can feel unfamiliar. Many people keep earbuds in for hours without thinking twice, but sound, especially when funneled directly into the ear canal, is not neutral. Prolonged exposure to elevated volumes has a cumulative effect on the sensitive structures of the inner ear. The tiny hair cells inside the cochlea that detect sound vibrations don't regenerate once they're damaged. Each time the volume goes too high or stays on too long, those cells risk injury. Over time, that injury can become permanent. This is the hidden danger of earbuds and hearing loss. You don't feel it happening, and you don't know what you've lost until it's too late. The damage caused by earbuds isn't usually the result of a single loud blast. Instead, it's the effect of repeated, moderate exposure, what we call hearing damage from daily use. This kind of damage is deceptive. It builds gradually. A little loss here, a little distortion there, until one day you realize that conversations are harder to follow. Background noise makes it difficult to focus, or certain sounds feel dull or muffled. For many, these signs of hearing damage go unnoticed or unacknowledged for years. They're often blamed on aging, stress, or fatigue. But in reality, they may stem from a much more preventable cause: how and how long we use our earbuds. What's even more concerning is that many people use earbuds in noisy environments. On public transport, in busy offices, or while walking down crowded streets, we tend to turn up the volume to drown out the background. But increasing volume to compete with ambient noise exponentially increases the risk of noise-induced hearing loss. Sound measured in decibel, becomes dangerous at around 85 decibels. If exposure lasts more than 8 hours, earbuds playing at 100 decibels, which is common for music lovers, can begin causing damage in as little as 15 minutes. Yet most people have no idea how loud their audio actually is. Without built-in awareness, the ears are subjected to a level of sound intensity they were never designed to handle. Understanding safe headphone volume is essential to protecting hearing, yet it remains one of the most misunderstood aspects of audio consumption. The average person sets their volume based on how it feels, not on what's safe. But just because it's not painful doesn't mean it's not harmful. Safe listening habits begin with education. Experts recommend keeping volume at 60% or less of the device's maximum, and limiting use to no more than 60 minutes at a time without a break. This 60/60th rule is one of the most effective hearing health tips available, but it's often ignored in favor of convenience or immersion. Unfortunately, hearing doesn't heal the way other senses do. Once it's gone, it doesn't come back. The signs of hearing damage can be subtle: ringing in the ears, tinnitus, muffled hearing difficulty, understanding speech, especially in noisy environments, are all early warning signs. If you notice that you're frequently asking people to repeat themselves, or that voices sound unclear even when they're close, it's time to take action. These symptoms are often the first indicators of permanent hearing loss risk. Left unaddressed, the damage progresses, and what was once an occasional annoyance becomes a chronic impairment that affects relationships, work, and overall quality of life. The risk of permanent hearing loss is even higher in young people, who tend to use earbuds more often and for longer periods. Teenagers and young adults often use earbuds to study, relax, or escape social discomfort, sometimes wearing them from the moment they wake up until they fall asleep. At this age, the ears are still relatively healthy, but the long-term consequences of daily exposure to loud sound won't become apparent until years later. Hearing loss in young adults is rising faster than in previous generations, and earbuds are a major contributor. By the time the damage shows up, it's too late to reverse it. There's also a psychological component to prolonged earbud use. In addition to physical damage, overuse can lead to social isolation. People using earbuds constantly may become disengaged from their environment, less likely to interact with those around them, and more prone to anxiety or distraction. While this isn't directly tied to hearing health, the broader effects of being plugged in constantly are worth considering. Protecting your ears also means protecting your connection to the world around you through sound, through voices, through presence. So how do we protect our ears in a world where earbuds are everywhere? It starts with awareness. Knowing that earbuds and hearing loss are connected is the first step. From there, you can adopt safe listening habits that reduce risk without giving up the convenience of earbuds. Using noise-canceling earbuds can help lower the temptation to crank up the volume in noisy spaces. Choosing over-ear headphones instead of in-ear models can reduce direct pressure on the inner ear. Setting a volume limit for earbuds in your phone's settings can act as a personal ceiling that keeps you in a safe zone. Taking breaks, giving your ears time to recover, and switching to speakerphone when privacy isn't needed can all add up to a powerful form of ear protection over time. It's also crucial to talk about this issue, especially with kids, teens, and young adults. Many people assume hearing loss is an older person's problem, but noise-induced hearing loss doesn't discriminate by age. The more we normalize conversations around hearing health, the better chance we have of preventing lifelong consequences. Schools, parents, content creators, and technology developers all have roles to play in raising awareness. Simple educational messaging, like explaining how long is too long, how loud is too loud, can make a lasting impact on young listeners. And of course, regular hearing checkups are essential. Just as we visit the eye doctor or dentist, an audiologist visit should be part of long-term health care. Early detection of hearing issues allows for faster intervention, whether through lifestyle changes, assistive technology, or medical treatment. Hearing health tips aren't just for those who already have problems, they're for everyone who wants to avoid them in the first place. The takeaway is simple. Earbuds are a fantastic tool, but they must be used responsibly. You wouldn't stare at a screen without blinking for hours, or hold your breath while exercising. In the same way, you shouldn't expose your ears to non-stop sound without giving them time to rest and recover. Protecting your ears is about more than avoiding hearing aids. It's about preserving the richness of daily life, the laughter of loved ones, the tone of a familiar voice, the music that stirs memory or emotion. All of it relies on your ears, and your ears rely on you. So next time you reach for your earbuds, ask yourself, how loud is it? How long have I been listening? And is this moment of audio worth the long-term cost of my hearing? If you're still listening, consider this your sign. Turn the volume down, set a timer, give your ears a break. Share this message with someone you care about, because hearing loss is invisible until it isn't. And once it starts, it doesn't stop. But you can stop it starting today. The modern world thrives on connection, and earbuds offer one of the most convenient ways to stay connected. Whether it's tuning into a podcast, a Zoom meeting, or a favorite playlist, they provide instant access to audio content without disturbing others. But in that convenience lies a quiet danger. When audio is streamed directly into the ear canal for extended periods, the natural warning signs our bodies usually rely on, like discomfort or ear fatigue, are often ignored. This desensitization creates a false sense of safety, luring people into unsafe habits without realizing the long-term consequences. That's why conversations around safe headphone volume and time limits are not just technical matters, they're public health essentials. Most smartphones and audio devices now include built-in warnings when users cross a certain decibel threshold. Yet many dismiss or override these alerts without thinking twice. Volume limit for earbuds is more than a recommendation, it's a vital safety feature. These limits exist to protect you from prolonged exposure to audio levels that can cause permanent inner ear damage. Exceeding these limits repeatedly, especially over weeks or months, can contribute to hearing loss in the same way that prolonged sun exposure contributes to skin damage. You may not feel it right away, but the damage builds silently and steadily. The shape and fit of earbuds also contribute to their risk profile. In-ear models sit close to the eardrum, often creating a sealed space that amplifies sound pressure. Unlike over-ear headphones, which distribute sound over a wider area, earbuds concentrate audio into a tight path. This creates a louder perceived volume at the same settings, making it easier to exceed safe limits without even realizing it. Combine this with long listening sessions while commuting, working, cleaning, or even sleeping, and you're looking at a perfect storm for cumulative auditory stress. Hearing health tips emphasize two key areas: intensity and duration. Most people think only about volume, but time matters just as much. Exposure to even moderately loud sound for several hours a day adds up over the weeks, months, and years. This is especially important for those who fall asleep with earbuds in or wear them for the majority of the day. Giving the ears recovery time is just as important as lowering the volume. Short breaks every hour and extended periods each day without any earbud use at all are critical for long-term ear health. Another overlooked danger is what happens when people use earbuds to mask environmental sounds. Instead of turning the noise off, they turn their music up. In doing so, they expose themselves to two sound sources, the ambient noise and the amplified response to it. This strategy may block out distractions temporarily, but it adds unnecessary strain to the auditory system. Noise-induced hearing loss develops when the structures of the inner ear, especially the hair cells and auditory nerves, are damaged by repeated exposure to high-intensity sound. These structures don't regenerate. Once they're gone, they're gone. Even more subtle are the psychological effects that accompany mild to moderate hearing loss. People may not immediately recognize they've lost hearing, but they do notice the effects: frustration in conversation, difficulty following group discussions, and a tendency to withdraw from social interaction. These are early signs of hearing damage, and they often lead to emotional consequences like loneliness, self-doubt, and a growing disconnect from one's environment. Many seniors with undiagnosed hearing loss report a diminished sense of presence or participation, even in familiar spaces. The same can be said for young adults who struggle with subtle hearing changes in academic or professional settings. Protecting your ears is not just about sound, it's about sustaining quality of life. This is why education around safe listening habits must start early. Children and teenagers now grow up with earbuds in hand from an early age. They use them for gaming, videos, online classes, music, and phone calls. By the time they reach their 20s, they may have logged thousands of hours of exposure to in-ear audio. Without awareness of the risks, many young listeners are unknowingly setting themselves up for a lifetime of reduced hearing sensitivity. Establishing a culture of hearing care, just like we've done with dental hygiene or skin protection, can change the trajectory of hearing health for generations to come. There is also an opportunity for tech companies to lead the charge. Device manufacturers can implement more aggressive safety defaults, volume warnings, or automatic limiter settings. App developers can add usage timers or encourage break reminders. Product designers can explore safer audio delivery systems like bone conduction headphones or open-ear audio. Innovation doesn't have to stop at convenience, it can extend to protection. Consumers, too, have a voice in this. By choosing products that prioritize hearing safety and holding brands accountable, we can shift the industry toward healthier norms. And for those who already suspect some hearing decline, now is the time to act. Schedule a hearing test. Consult an audiologist. Try using earbuds less and switching to over-ear headphones or external speakers when possible. Lower the volume by a few notches and see if you can still enjoy your content. Most people find that, with time, their ears adjust and they stop needing excessive volume to feel satisfied. Developing safe listening habits is not about sacrifice. It's about control. It's about choosing a path that supports your body's long-term function instead of compromising it for short-term pleasure. One of the most encouraging things about hearing health is that it's still largely in our hands. Unlike some aspects of aging, hearing loss from earbuds is preventable. Yes, there are genetic and medical factors that contribute to hearing decline. But noise-induced hearing loss is one of the few areas where behavior change makes a direct, measurable difference. Every minute you listen at a lower volume, every break you take, every hour you go without earbuds, those are investments in your future hearing. They're acts of protection that you won't regret. Just as we wear helmets on bikes or seatbelts in cars, we must begin viewing ear protection as standard. The consequences of not doing so are simply too high. Permanent hearing loss risk is not a theoretical concept, it's already happening to millions. And the irony is that it's not the loud concert or construction site that's doing the most damage anymore. It's the small, everyday habits, the hours spent with earbuds in, day after day, year after year, that add up to lifelong change. We live in a world where sound is power. It connects us to people, to music, to ideas, but like all forms of power, it must be used wisely. Volume, in this case, is control. And with that control comes responsibility. There's a simple truth we all need to hear. Hearing loss isn't something that only happens to other people. It isn't just a problem for seniors or factory workers. In today's world, it's a growing risk for anyone who uses earbuds regularly and, especially for those who use them for hours each day. The devices that bring us comfort, productivity, and entertainment also pose a very real threat to one of our most irreplaceable senses. That's why the conversation around earbuds and hearing loss isn't just timely, it's urgent. We're living in an era where prolonged exposure to digital sound is normalized. Most people check their phones before they even leave bed. They stream content during meals, work with music in the background, and fall asleep to audio late at night. In this sound-filled environment, our ears rarely get a break. And if earbuds are your delivery system of choice, that break becomes even less likely. Over time, this type of constant stimulation can wear down your hearing capacity slowly but permanently. That's the scariest part. You often don't realize how much you've lost until it's gone. The good news? There's still time. Most hearing damage from daily use doesn't happen overnight. That means we have an opportunity, a window to intervene, to change our habits, and to protect our hearing before it's too late. Understanding the signs of hearing damage, such as muffled sound, ringing in the ears, or difficulty following conversations, is the first line of defense. If you experience any of these symptoms, don't ignore them. They're your body's way of waving a flag. Take them seriously. They are not just signs of fatigue or age, they are warnings. Start by turning the volume down. Check your phone's audio settings and set a maximum volume limit for earbuds. Most smartphones and streaming apps allow you to manually restrict volume to safer levels. Make use of these features. Even just reducing your volume by 10 to 15% can significantly reduce the strain on your ears. This is one of the simplest, most effective hearing health tips you can implement today. Next, manage your listening time. Limit long sessions. Try listening in intervals 45 minutes on, 15 minutes off. Give your ears a rest. Use external speakers whenever possible, especially when privacy isn't required. And if you absolutely must wear earbuds for long periods, invest in ones with active noise cancellation. That way, you don't have to increase volume just to overcome environmental sounds. Also, pay attention to poorly fitting earbuds can cause people to turn up the volume to compensate. A snug but comfortable fit helps seal in sound more efficiently, allowing you to listen at lower volumes without sacrificing clarity. Explore alternative designs, such as over-ear headphones or open-back models, that allow your ears to breathe while still enjoying quality sound. And most importantly, talk about it. Share these safe listening habits with family, friends, coworkers, and especially younger people. Teens and young adults are forming lifelong habits now. Teaching them about volume limit for earbuds, time limits, and rest periods can dramatically reduce their risk of noise-induced hearing loss later in life. Encourage schools and tech companies to provide better user education on safe listening. The more we normalize this conversation, the more lives we protect. There's nothing wrong with enjoying your music. There's nothing wrong with staying connected, but we must balance that enjoyment with responsibility. Our ears weren't built for this much noise. For this many hours a day, at this intensity, we have to protect them because no one else will do it for us. This isn't about fear. It's about foresight. The same way we use sunscreen to protect our skin, or seatbelts to protect our lives. We need to start using volume control and time limits to protect our hearing. Hearing loss doesn't just affect what you hear. It affects how you live, how you connect, how you work, how you love, how you age. And in a world filled with sound, silence should be a choice, not a sentence. So before you put those earbuds back in pause, turn the volume down, set a timer, use your tech wisely, and if you're a parent or teacher, talk to your kids about the risks. Let them know that hearing is worth protecting, just like their eyes, their teeth, their minds. You don't have to give up earbuds, you just have to use them better, safer, smarter. Because once your hearing starts to go, there's no turning it back up.